Hey, I'm Keith from Aquapier, and today we're going to show you how to maintain your water system. This particular system here has a Fleck softener. It's called a Fleck head softener. It's got a control on it like that, and then we've got an aerator tank, and there's several different types of aerator tanks. This is a fiberglass one that we got to pull some screws out to get to it. And then besides that, you got your salt tank over here. You see that, Jacob? Yeah. Okay, we got some salt there. We got a pressure tank right here, a couple pressure switches, gauges, and whatnot. Let me get the cover off this aerator. So some of these have screws in them like this, so you got to pull a bunch of screws out. Other ones have like a twist lock lid to it. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull this top off. Take a look inside here. Here, can you see inside there real good? Here, look at this. You see this? See this slimy stuff? Look at that. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. Believe it or not, people are actually freaking drinking this water. Want a drink?
I'm good.
So, anyway, we're gonna drain and clean this thing. This one isn't that bad. I mean, I've seen worse, but you get it flowing. Some of them have a ball valve on it like that. You get it draining, either that or you might have a cap on it. You got to take a channel locks and unscrew it. You get it draining. Go ahead and unplug both your pumps, your well pump, and this is the pump that's actually down inside the aerator. Because as you're draining this thing, you don't want this pump kicking on and you know, trying to pump water. So as it's draining, you go ahead and get yourself a brush and start scrubbing. Now this is actually going to come on this spray bar until this pressure tank over here empties out. That's going to spray, but as soon as that tank is empty, this thing will stop spraying. So it'll take just a few seconds. Okay, see, it's done. So just let it go. And like I said, as it's emptying the tank, we're going to go ahead and just keep scrubbing it. Okay, this one also has a chlorine basket in it for one of these chlorine sticks. This is not a bad idea if you got a really nasty aerator that gets all this stuff. Here, look at this stuff again, Jacob. See that slimy stuff? This is like I call it like it's a sulfur bacteria, but I mean, these aerators are nasty. I don't care how good it is or whatever. I mean, my best recommendation is get rid of it and get something good, you know. So, which, I mean, the alternative to this would be one of those single tank sulfur removal systems. So, but then that's, if you get a system like that, it's a completely closed system and you don't have to worry about cleaning these nasty things. So here, look inside again, take a look at that. Is that freaking nasty or what?
That's cute.
And this one here was actually cleaned a month ago. So it gets nasty, and the problem is people, they forget, you know, to clean these things, and they don't do it. But you know, as long as the top's on and everything's working, they got water in the house, they think everything's okay. But in reality, it's not. So the other thing we're going to do, like I said, we're going to get a new chlorine stick and put one of those in there. The softener over here, we're going to check this. I mean, things we're looking for is your time of day right here, and right now it's 1:30, so it is the correct time of day. If you need to change this time of day, to do that, you push in this button here, which is spring loaded. Okay, you push that button in and then you can roll this dial. Okay, and then you just go ahead and set the time. But this should always be in service, you know, unless you know, you're doing something with it or trying to get it in a recharge. Set the time of day, make sure it's got salt in it. If you come around here and look at the back, Jacob, you gotta come all the way around. if you look inside this little window, you can tell, see that motor spinning right there? See it? In that little hole right there? Well, anyway, if you look in there, you can actually see that thing spinning, and that way it tells you, you know that this electric motor is working properly. So if your time is all out of whack or something, you're trying to figure out why it's, you know, the way it is. So anyway, like I said, we keep this thing full of salt. Throw another bag in here. And you fill it up just like that. Got a little left over, just set it by the unit there. Couple things I'm going to check, just make sure this thing is working right. Just by turning this into a regen mode, you can kind of see what's going on. You know, so you hear water flowing, and there's a line here, this backwash line right here. This goes out, this one's actually over in the grass behind us, so you can't see it, but you want to look to make sure water's flowing out that drain line. And then we keep turning this thing, and you hold your finger on this at the same time. There's the brine cycle. Okay, so once it gets to the brine cycle, right there, okay, you see this suction on this line? This is what you're looking for, okay, in that position. So that way we know that it's working properly, and it's going to suck brine out of the salt tank. Spin it around, keep going. You get into the rapid rinse, it's going to still dump out the drain line. Okay, then the settle rinse, and then it gets to the refill, which then this tube right here will start spitting water, and that's the refill to refill the salt tank with water, so it makes salt brine again. And then you go right back to the service position. You're done. This one here, this one's got a bypass on it. I'm going to go ahead and turn this bypass on, and that way we can clean these screens and injectors on this thing. So once you put it in bypass, you get back to the valve again, you turn it again in a full clockwise position, because all you're doing is trying to relieve the pressure off of this valve. Once you get it back to there, you stop, and we're going to pull this cover off of this screen over here on this side of this valve. There's two screws that you unscrew. You can use either a nut driver like I got, or else just a flathead screwdriver. Pull that off. Okay. Okay. Pull that off. And then you get to that screen. Here's that screen I'm talking about. You see that? Look at all those nasties that are in there. Okay? So we want to clean that up. And usually how I do it, I mean, you can go over to the hose bib or something, but what I do is I just stand over here on the side, Jacob, because I'm going to shoot water right out here. But you turn on this bypass valve just a little bit, and water starts flowing out. You can actually use this to rinse your screen. Okay, and then at the same time, I'll back it down a little bit, but you put your finger over where that screen came out of right there. Put your finger over it, and what we're going to do is try to shoot water out that injector right there. Okay, see, it's coming shooting out of that injector. So if it's coming out of that hole on the center of this injector, we know that injector is not plugged. If it is plugged, then you got to take a screwdriver, you got to take this part off, that unscrews, and get into it. But for the most part, this is all you have to do. Put that back together. Okay. Tighten that back down. Okay, got everything tight. Go ahead and turn your bypass back on again. And this particular one has got, if it's in line with the piping, that means that the water's on. If it's crossways, that means the water's off to the valve. So this is in service position. We'll go ahead and put this brine line back on. This actually just pops in there like that. It's a John Guest fitting. So that's all we got to do with that. Let's take a look back in our aerator now. Alright, now look in the aerator. See this stuff, you still got all this slimy stuff in there. So what we do is we just get our pump, our well pump. We start that one first. We're going to plug that in. And here's your pressure switch for that well pump. Okay. So we just reach over, plug it in. Water starts spraying. As it's spraying, we're just going to kind of rinse this thing out, try to get all that stuff out of there. Take a look at it again. See all that slimy stuff that's in the bottom there? Okay. Trying to get all that out of there. Let me go grab a chlorine stick real quick. Here's that chlorine stick that I was talking about, and you leave the plastic on because you only want it dissolving on the ends here, because you don't want to have too much chlorine. Like I said, these aerators are nasty, but we try to get the majority of the gunk out of here. There's some more. Let me give it some more water. Okay, it's draining out, draining out. Most of the time these pumps, most guys don't put these in horizontal like this. They hang them vertically. So depending on what you have for an aerator, probably you're going to have one that's hanging vertically. Alright, so that's about it. You turn the aerator back on. Shut the ball valve off down there so this tank fills up. Okay, as it's filling up, we're just going to put the screws back in. It'll take a few minutes for it to fill up completely, but once it's full, then we're going to plug in the pump that's inside the aerator, and then we'll go over to like the hose bib and open that up and make sure that that pump is functioning properly. Alright, so that's about it. Other than the fact of, like I said, get rid of this thing. It's nasty. Put in one of those new sulfur systems, you have a whole lot less headaches. Till next time. See you.